Have you been told that getting older means accepting less joy, fewer possibilities, and smaller dreams? If you're over 60, you've probably spent decades following rules and expectations that made sense when you were building your career and raising your family, but now they're holding you back from the peace and freedom you've earned. But groundbreaking research involving over 6,000 seniors proves otherwise. The 9 behaviors you're about to learn to release could transform your 60s, 70s, and 80s into the most liberating years of your entire life. What you're about to discover could help you stop living by outdated rules and start embracing the authentic, peaceful existence that comes when you finally give yourself permission to let go of what no longer serves you. So you want to know about creating more happiness and freedom in your later years? I get it, and I'm going to give you exactly what you need. But here's the thing, you're also going to learn why holding on to certain habits and beliefs after 60 actually prevents the joy and peace that should naturally come with this stage of life. The last behavior I'll cover involves letting go of society's timeline for your dreams and possibilities. Did you know that 84% of people over 60 report feeling constrained by expectations that no longer fit their current life stage? It doesn't have to be that way. Make sure you stick around because recognizing what to release could be the key to unlocking the freedom and joy that make your later years truly golden. And if this helps you, imagine how it could help others navigating this stage of life. Behavior number 1. Stop apologizing for taking up space. This next one will help you understand why the habit of making yourself smaller needs to end after 60. Meet Dorothy, a 72-year-old retired teacher who had spent her entire life apologizing for her presence. Dorothy would say sorry for asking questions in stores, apologize for needing help reaching items, and constantly minimized her own needs to avoid being seen as demanding. Dorothy believed that being a good senior meant being invisible and unobtrusive. She would skip appointments if parking looked busy and regularly put others' comfort ahead of her own basic needs. What Dorothy didn't realize was that her self-minimizing was robbing her of experiences and respect she had every right to claim. Here's what Dorothy discovered: apologizing for existing teaches others to treat you as if your needs don't matter, creating a cycle where you receive less consideration and respect than you deserve. Research from Georgetown University shows that women who stop apologizing unnecessarily after 60 report significantly higher self-esteem and receive better treatment in social and commercial interactions. Studies found that seniors who advocate for themselves confidently experience better healthcare, customer service, and family relationships. How can you tell if you're apologizing for taking up space instead of asserting your right to exist comfortably? Pay attention to how often you say sorry for normal human needs like asking questions or requesting assistance. You might notice that you automatically defer to others even when you have equal claim to resources, and you could find yourself shrinking your presence to avoid imagined inconvenience. These aren't signs of politeness. They're indicators that you've been taught to believe your needs are less important. The good news is that claiming your space confidently makes interactions more pleasant for everyone because clear communication reduces confusion and builds respect. Start by replacing unnecessary apologies with neutral statements when asking for normal assistance, and gradually practice stating your needs directly. What's wonderful is that people respond positively to confident, respectful communication, and you'll discover that asserting your right to exist comfortably improves every aspect of daily life. Behavior number 2, stop hoarding items for special occasions. This one might surprise you because it reveals how waiting for the right moment prevents you from enjoying what you already own. Consider Florence, a 78-year-old widow who had beautiful china, elegant jewelry, and lovely clothing that she was saving for special occasions. Florence kept her best dishes in a cabinet for holidays that became less frequent, stored beautiful jewelry in boxes for events that felt too formal, and hung expensive clothes in her closet while wearing worn everyday outfits. When Florence's granddaughter admired the china, Florence realized she couldn't remember the last time she had used it or identify what occasion would be special enough. What Florence learned, saving your best things for special occasions often means never using them at all, which defeats the purpose of owning beautiful objects that could bring daily joy. Research from UC shows that people who use their best possessions regularly report higher life satisfaction and appreciation for their belongings. Studies found that incorporating beautiful objects into daily routines increases happiness and creates positive associations with ordinary moments. What are the warning signs that you're hoarding instead of enjoying your possessions? Watch for beautiful items that remain unused because you're waiting for the right occasion. You may feel guilt about using nice things for everyday purposes, and you could notice that you own items you love but never incorporate into your life. These signals indicate that you're prioritizing preservation over enjoyment. Here's the empowering truth: every day you're healthy and able to appreciate beauty is a special occasion worthy of your best things. Begin with using one special item in your regular routine and slowly integrate favorite possessions into daily life rather than reserving them for rare events. The beautiful part is using special things regularly creates more joy than saving them, and you'll discover that treating ordinary days as worthy of beauty transforms your daily experience. Behavior number 3. Stop trying to fix other people. This particular behavior is exhausting because it involves spending precious energy on outcomes you cannot control. Picture Evelyn, an 80-year-old grandmother who had spent decades trying to help her adult children make better decisions and avoid mistakes she saw them making. Evelyn would lose sleep worrying about her son's marriage, spend hours giving unrequested advice, and feel personally responsible when family members struggled with challenges she couldn't solve. Evelyn thought caring meant constantly trying to improve other people's lives, but her efforts often created resentment and distance rather than the closer relationships she wanted. The truth is, trying to change other people after 60 wastes limited time and energy while preventing you from focusing on your own growth, peace, and happiness. Evidence from Yale University proves that people who stop trying to control others experience significantly lower stress levels and better relationships. Research shows that seniors who redirect helping energy toward their own interests report higher life satisfaction and often inspire positive changes through modeling rather than advice giving. How do you know if you're wasting energy trying to change people? Look out for feeling frustrated by family members who don't take your advice. You may experience anxiety about other people's decisions you have no power to influence, and you could find yourself offering unsolicited guidance that creates tension. These indicate that you're trying to control outcomes that belong to other people. What's hopeful is that accepting people as they are often improves relationships while freeing enormous energy for your own growth. You can start by practicing responses like, "That sounds challenging," instead of offering solutions, and redirect energy toward activities within your control. The rewarding aspect is that people become more open to your influence when you stop trying to change them, and you'll experience profound relief from focusing on your own life rather than everyone else's choices. Behavior number 4. Stop maintaining draining friendships. This one is especially important because toxic relationships become more costly to your well-being when time and energy are increasingly precious. Meet Catherine, a 76-year-old who maintained several friendships that had become completely one-sided. Catherine had friends who only called when they needed something, complained constantly without taking advice, or made her feel guilty after every interaction. Catherine felt obligated to maintain these relationships because of shared history, but she dreaded their calls and felt emotionally drained afterward. Catherine thought loyalty meant enduring difficult people indefinitely, but she was sacrificing peace and happiness to preserve connections that no longer brought joy. Here's the reality: maintaining draining relationships after 60 steals energy and happiness that could be directed toward connections that actually nourish your soul. Studies from Harvard Medical School show that toxic relationships have measurable negative effects on physical and mental health, particularly for seniors whose stress tolerance is more vulnerable. Research found that seniors who eliminate draining relationships experience better health outcomes, improved mood, and increased life satisfaction. What are the warning signs that friendships are draining? rather than nourishing you. Be aware of relationships where you consistently give more than you receive, or friendships that leave you feeling anxious or exhausted. You might dread certain people's calls or feel relief when plans get canceled, and you could notice that interactions focus on their problems without reciprocal interest in your life. These symptoms indicate that these relationships are costing more than they're providing. The positive news is that releasing draining relationships creates space for connections that actually support who you are. Start by setting boundaries with demanding people and gradually reducing time spent with those who consistently leave you feeling worse. And invest social energy in relationships that feel reciprocal and genuinely enjoyable. The satisfying result is that eliminating toxic relationships leads to deeper appreciation for healthy ones, and you'll experience how much lighter life feels when your social circle consists of people who genuinely care. Have you ever maintained friendships that drained your energy? Let me know in the comments. And if you're finding these insights helpful, make sure to subscribe because we share practical advice for seniors that can make daily life easier and more enjoyable. Behavior number 5, stop saying yes to misaligned obligations. This behavior will help you understand why automatic yes saying prevents you from living according to your authentic priorities. Consider Helen, a 74-year-old woman who had spent her life saying yes to every request and invitation. Helen volunteered for multiple committees, attended every family gathering, regardless of how she felt, and accepted social invitations even when she preferred quiet evenings. Helen believed being a good person meant being available to everyone, but she was exhausted and resentful because her calendar was full of activities that didn't reflect her actual interests or energy levels. What Helen learned saying yes to everything after 60 means saying no to the life you actually want to live, and automatic agreement prevents conscious choices about how to spend remaining time. Research from the University of Michigan shows that seniors who learn to say no to obligations that don't align with their values experience significantly less stress and greater life satisfaction. Studies found that selective engagement based on personal values leads to deeper fulfillment and better relationships. How can you tell if you're saying yes out of habit rather than genuine interest? Pay attention to feeling obligated to accept invitations that don't appeal to you or drain your energy. You might notice that your schedule is full but doesn't reflect your preferences, and you could experience resentment because you're constantly doing things for others' happiness rather than your own. These indicate that obligation is ruling your life rather than intention. Here's the empowering truth: saying no to what doesn't serve you creates space for what does, and people respect clear boundaries more than reluctant participation. Start by identifying your core values and practicing declining requests that don't align with what matters most, and gradually build a schedule that reflects your authentic interests. What's wonderful is that selective yes-saying leads to more meaningful engagement, and you'll discover that people prefer your enthusiastic participation in fewer things rather than reluctant participation in everything. Behavior number 6, stop ignoring physical limitations. What I'm about to share will help you understand why acknowledging your body's changes is empowering rather than giving up. Let me tell you about Robert, an 83-year-old man who refused to acknowledge that his strength and balance had changed since his 50s. Robert continued attempting the same physical activities, from heavy yard work to climbing ladders, because he believed accepting limitations meant admitting defeat. Robert's stubbornness led to several injuries, including a serious fall that could have been prevented if he had adapted his activities to match his current capabilities. Here's the reality: acknowledging and adapting to physical changes after 60 allows you to maintain independence and safety while continuing active living within realistic parameters. Evidence from the Mayo Clinic reveals that seniors who modify activities to match current capabilities experience 68% fewer injuries and maintain active lifestyles significantly longer. Research found that accepting limitations while finding creative alternatives often leads to discovering new activities that are more suitable and enjoyable. How do you know if you're ignoring physical limitations instead of adapting wisely? Look out for continuing activities that now cause pain or safety concerns rather than enjoyment. You may experience frequent minor injuries from attempting tasks beyond current capabilities, and you could avoid activities entirely because you can't do them exactly as before. These symptoms indicate that pride is preventing practical adaptations. The good news is that adapting activities often opens doors to new experiences you might never have discovered. Start by honestly assessing which activities now feel risky and researching safer alternatives, and gradually embrace modifications that allow continued participation. The rewarding aspect is that smart adaptations often lead to better outcomes than struggling with unsuitable activities, and you'll experience greater confidence when your activities match your capabilities. Behavior number 7. Stop living in the past. This one is especially crucial because dwelling on previous decades can prevent you from creating meaning in your current life. Meet Virginia, an 81-year-old widow who spent most conversations talking about her late husband and how much better things used to be. Virginia's house was filled with photos from decades past, and she rarely added new experiences because nothing seemed as meaningful as her previous life. Virginia believed that honoring her husband's memory meant freezing her life at the moment he died, but her focus on the past was preventing new experiences that could bring current joy and purpose. What Virginia discovered living entirely in the past honors what was, but prevents you from discovering what still could be, and memories are meant to enrich the present rather than replace it. Research from Stanford University shows that seniors who balance past appreciation with openness to new experiences report significantly higher happiness levels. Studies found that creating new memories after major life changes actually honors previous relationships by demonstrating that love and joy remain possible. How can you tell if you're living too much in the past? Pay attention to whether most conversations focus on previous decades rather than current interests. You might notice that you've stopped pursuing new experiences because they feel like betrayals, and you could find yourself comparing every current experience unfavorably to past ones. These indicate that grief or nostalgia is preventing present moment engagement. Here's the empowering truth: creating new memories doesn't diminish previous ones. It proves that your capacity for joy continues throughout life. Begin with small new experiences that don't feel like major departures from your values, and slowly build comfort with loving your past without rejecting your present. The beautiful part is that new experiences often give fresh perspectives on previous memories, and you'll discover that an active present actually honors your past better than simply reminiscing. Behavior number 8. Stop avoiding helpful technology. This particular behavior will help you recognize when fear of learning prevents connections and independence. Picture Betty, a 79-year-old grandmother who avoided smartphones and computers because she thought technology was too complicated. Betty relied on adult children for online banking video calls with distant grandchildren and researching information. Betty felt proud of maintaining old-fashioned methods, but her technology avoidance was making her more dependent on others and preventing access to services and connections that could enhance her independence. The truth is, avoiding beneficial technology after 60 often reduces independence and social connection, rather than preserving them, and learning basic digital skills can dramatically improve daily life. Evidence from AARP shows that seniors who learn basic technology skills experience significantly better family connections, service access, and independence. Research found that technology adoption among seniors often leads to increased confidence, social engagement, and practical capabilities. What are the warning signs that technology avoidance is limiting your independence? Look out for relying on others for tasks you could learn to do online, missing opportunities to connect through video calls, or feeling excluded from conversations about topics you could research independently. You may experience frustration with slower methods of accomplishing tasks that could be done quickly online, and you could notice that avoiding technology is making you more dependent rather than preserving independence. What's hopeful is that learning senior-friendly technology often proves easier and more beneficial than expected. You can start by identifying one technology skill that would genuinely improve your life and seeking senior-friendly instruction, and gradually build comfort with digital tools that enhance rather than complicate your routine. The amazing thing is that basic technology skills often provide immediate improvements in communication and practical task management, and you'll discover that staying connected to useful technology helps maintain independence. Behavior number 9. Stop following society's timeline for dreams. Now for the most liberating behavior to release. This one involves rejecting the belief that certain dreams and experiences are only appropriate for younger people. Most seniors unconsciously accept that their time for adventure learning and pursuing dreams has passed, but this limiting belief prevents some of the most fulfilling experiences possible. Let me tell you about Agnes, an 86-year-old woman who had always dreamed of learning to paint but believed she was too old to start something new. Agnes thought beginning artistic pursuits at her age was silly and impractical, so she admired other people's artwork while assuming creative expression was for younger people. Everything changed when Agnes met another woman in her 90s who had started painting at 80 and was having her first art show. Agnes realized that society's timeline for dreams was completely arbitrary and that her age actually gave her advantages like patience, life experience, and freedom from career pressures. Here's what Agnes learned: society's timeline for dreams and new beginnings is completely artificial, and your age often provides wisdom, perspective, and freedom that make pursuing dreams more rewarding rather than less possible. Clinical studies from the MacArthur Foundation reveal that seniors who pursue new interests maintain better cognitive function and emotional well-being. Research found that people who start new pursuits after 70 often achieve higher satisfaction and mastery because they approach learning without the pressure and distractions that affect younger people. How do you know if you're allowing society's timeline to limit your dreams? Be aware of dismissing interests because you think you're too old to start something new. You might feel envious of younger people's opportunities while assuming similar experiences are no longer available, and you could avoid challenges because you believe you should be settling down rather than growing. These indicate that you've internalized ageist beliefs about what's possible. Here's the empowering truth: your age gives you unique advantages for pursuing dreams, including freedom from others' expectations, financial resources, and wisdom to focus on what truly matters. Start by identifying one dream you've dismissed as impractical for your age, and progressively take small steps toward exploring it without worrying about becoming an expert. What's wonderful is that pursuing dreams after 60 often leads to unexpected friendships and experiences that enrich your life. Plus, you'll find that following authentic interests often inspires others to pursue their own delayed dreams. Which of these behaviors are you most ready to release? Share your thoughts below. And if you found this valuable, please subscribe and ring the notification bell. Your engagement helps us reach more seniors who need these empowering insights. This alone could transform your approach to aging, from accepting limitations to embracing unlimited possibilities for growth, joy, and authentic living. Looking back, these 9 behaviors reveal that happiness after 60 isn't about accepting less. It's about releasing what no longer serves you to make room for what truly matters. These changes aren't about giving up. They're about giving yourself permission to live authentically, peacefully, and joyfully during the years you've worked so hard to reach. The good news is that releasing even one of these behaviors can immediately improve your daily experience and overall life satisfaction. You're not too old to change, grow, or choose differently. The wisdom you've gained gives you the perfect foundation for making choices that truly serve your happiness and well-being. If you've recognized yourself in any of these behaviors, know that awareness is the first step toward positive change, and you have both the wisdom and the right to live exactly as you choose. Tonight or today, choose one behavior that resonated most deeply and take one small step toward releasing it. Whether that's using something special you've been saving, setting a boundary, or pursuing an interest you've been postponing. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share which behavior you're most ready to let go of. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to having you join us again in the next video.